just Coach Prime, he always been a man of his word to me, and I love the man to death.
You use Jimmy Horn as a fake Tyreek Hill. Nobody was going to block him. I'm making magic happen. That's called impact, ladies and gentlemen. We are less than a day away from the draft, so I want to talk about some people who aren't being talked about enough. And I think we are all familiar with Mr. Jimmy Horn. Obviously, a little bit undersized in the height department, but a lot of speed, a lot of contact balance, and a lot of ability to get loose in a lot of different ways. And while LeJounte Wester, I think, is also an honorable mention to be talked about, we're only going to talk about one Colorado player in this video. And I think LeJounte is more of a clear, hey, 5'10", beast in the slot. With Jimmy Horn, you're going to have to be an offensive coordinator that knows how to utilize people, knows how to take advantage of motion, and really how to dissect defenses to utilize them to his full abilities and really buy into that. And we're also going to talk about Mr. Shavon Revel Jr. Obviously, he's less of a day 3 guy, which I think, Jimmy Horn's going to be undrafted to maybe day 3, maybe he slides in the second round. I don't know. Hey, I don't see it, but maybe he does that. With Shavon Revel, I mean, he's mostly an injury guy, an older guy, but when it comes to the way people are talking about him, they do talk about him as a fringe first-round guy, as cornerback 3 in this draft for some people. And then somebody that I have first-hand account of as a Texas fan, who Shamari Simmons, somebody who almost ruined our season even more so for the Texas Longhorns. I'm gonna talk about him because I really wholeheartedly think in the small sample size I've seen him play that he is an absolute game changer. So let's start right here with Jimmy Horn, and I want to talk about just statistics right off the back. I love Real Analytics, the page. I'm not a big analytics in general guy, but Real Analytics, I think that's some really good stuff. I've used them in a lot of different videos, and he has to say, Colorado Jimmy Horn Jr. brings elite speed and suddenness to the perimeter. Twitchy, explosive, dangerous after the catch, a true field stretcher with game-breaking potential. 83.5 for the IGA score, which is an 84th percentile. And obviously this all comes from, or a lot of this comes from Jimmy Horn being spoken about with Agent 89. So we're going to get into that at the end. And we're also going to talk about Jimmy Horn and speaking to reach the people as well if we have enough time. But speaking on Jimmy Horn, the player, again, 5'10", I think 5'10" is generous. I think he's actually 5'8", 5'9", but 5'10", I like it. LeJounte's more of a 5'10" guy. 170, 4.34, 40 time, 2,000 yards and 12. 4.3 40. Where do you get that 4.3 40 from, son? I think the oh yeah, right here. Never mind. 4.34, not a 4.4. Some people have him at 4.4. Some people have 4.3 40. Hey man, go at 4.3 40. So hey, 4.3 40, 2,000 yards, 12 touchdowns in career, diverse route tree, excellent stop and go skill, innate ability to track deep balls, versatility in the offense. Who gets Jimmy Horn Jr. could well steal the draft. It didn't take long for Horn's quickness to stand out in practice. He was especially dominant during team periods in the red zone. Horn consistently got separation and defeated man coverage. So this is what I mean by he is somebody that look, like that other one said, look, he's versatile. You can just look at Jimmy Horn and say, okay, fast, twitchy, get him get him some drags, get him some screens, get him in the perimeter, get the ball in his hand, get some gadget plays. That's cool. But I think to fully utilize him, you're going to have to be an offensive coordinator that doesn't see things so narrowly, right? You're going to have to get to the point where you use Jimmy Horn as a fake Tyreek Hill, right? You want to use that speed, use that suddenness. You need to use it as a threat, right? And you need to push him vertical. Don't just keep him in a box where, okay, he's going to line him in the slot and he's going to do a little, you know what I'm saying, and then do a little drag and then a little come around. If you make Jimmy Horn predictable, I think very well in the NFL, he can be shut down. He's going to become a non-factor. But if you use the versatility, like I said, the way that it needs to be done, right, specifically at the red zone, because I have been, before even reading that, I have been toting and praising both LeJounte and Jimmy Horn for being elite red zone targets. I mean, what are you talking about? Usually red zone targets are big bodies. They're catch point guys, right? Not in, again, the modern NFL. There's not a lot of times, unless you have a guy like that, unless you have a Mike Evans, where offensive coordinators in the NFL are just going to say, hey, let's just throw this back shoulder fade and go up and get it, right? Now, again, that happens. It's always going to be a part of football. Hey, go up and get this back shoulder fade. And I don't think Jimmy Horn can't do that. I just don't think that's his ability. But I think Andy Reid set the red zone aflame. I think Andy Reid kind of connected the dots with some of these young offensive coordinators in the NFL who often struggled with their concepts when they got into the red zone. And adding that corn dog, that return play. Obviously, we saw Jeremiah Smith score a touchdown on it, on that return play, and the way that they ran on Ohio State. I think they ran it even more devious. They had like a bunch of flow going this way. He stopped and then came out. Like there's been a bunch of variations on that. And I think Jimmy Horn Jr. is a type of guy with his suddenness, with his ability, with his contact balance. Right? These are some route runners, dog. Jimmy Horn's a better route runner than Travis Hunter. Like, and that's not like a hot take if you've been keeping up with football, if you've been watching Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter isn't the smoothest out of all of his breaks. It's just, he's a different animal, a different beast. But I think Jimmy Horn gives you a little bit of that suddenness. I think he gives you a little bit of that speed. I think he gives you, a lot of speed and a lot of electricity. And suddenness has to be the word. I don't really care that he ran a 4.34. It really wouldn't have mattered what the 40 was. This is a guy that I think that with the ball in his hands, he can make things really go to another level, right? It's the effortlessness, it's the smoothness, it's another level that I think if utilized correctly is going to start destroying corners, linebackers, stars, whatever you want to, nickel backs, anybody who has to cover him in 4 dimensions, or 3 dimensions. Hey man, it's going to get real scary. But let's talk about some more people. So this one, Mr. Shavon Revel Jr. Now this is a little different because he is not a, like, you don't have to be just an ECU fan to know who this kid is, right? A lot of people are speaking about him. So Shavon Revel Jr. is not talked about enough. And I also like his story, too. The story is pretty good. So he had 0 D1 offers, car accident resulting in major injuries, including a fractured skull. He did 2 years of JUCO, 1 full year starting at ECU in 2023, where he was elite, and then he tore his ACL last year in 2024. He's 24 years old. He has him as the CB3, and obviously, specifically at the position like corner, right? I know we're starting to see a lot of older quarterbacks coming into the league, and people can argue the pros and the negatives about that, right? We can talk about that conversation, but specifically when you talk about the position of corner and the type of the brand of football that he plays, which is press corner, being older, that is like you're already in your prime. You're already getting close to your prime. And we know the world of the corner. We know the lifespan of a corner. You go from a corner to slot to a safety real quick, right? Or, you know what I'm saying, a dime to a safety really, really, really quick. And I think that can happen for him, right? Because he has some length there. But I say all that to say it might not seem, like the best setup at 24, being a corner in a position that gets run by quick, that ages out really quickly, right? But I mean, 42% completion rate allowed, 3 interceptions and 12 pass breakups. This is since 2023, 57.1 passer rating allowed, and 90.5 coverage grade. Look, this is a guy that pops off the screen. This is a guy that a lot of people have a lot of positive things to say about, right? Here's Shavon Revel. Again, he's big. He's physical. What's he weighing? I think he's like 6'2". Am I wrong? 6'2", 33-inch arms, 4'4", 40, 11-inch broad jump at camp, twitch up, disciplined, impressed, good route vision, off man, zone, explosive. So again, he's gonna want to be a man guy. That's like his bread and also his butter. Obviously, I got to slow it down a little bit, but I mean, you see where he can be a safety too now. This off rep, I think, shows his range at 6'2", right? And again, when I say those things, I'm projecting those things. You have to understand that the NFL is about staying in the league. And if you're already pulling off moves like this, showing range, showing your ability, I mean, he tracked that Dover route pretty nastily, right? Pretty strong as well. Here he is throwing up weight at the pro day, right? So I'm not just saying that, he's old and he's 24 and, he might not be able to play the cornerback position. He has to play safety. I'm saying that he has the ability to play safety. I'm saying he has the ability to play off. But he's gonna want to get into the chest of some of these receivers, and they don't like it, right? But obviously, in the world like we just talked about with Jimmy Horn, this is a motion league. This is I'm gonna force you to Jeremiah Smith too. I mean, I know this is talking about college level, but that's an NFL offensive coordinator, offensive play caller. What's it called, Chip Kelly. I'm gonna give you too much conflict. Forget giving you conflict as a regular scheme on floods and stuff like that. I'm gonna give you conflict before the ball snaps. I'm gonna take my best player and motion him into the field. I'm gonna have you come here, and then I'm gonna have someone kick out, him do a spin, him do a splurge. So with that, all that being said, the fact that he can also show his range, that he can also show that, I'm a dude that can go up and get it. I'm a dude that, look, range again. This is where the ability at being off 10 yards in 1 second. Again, range is where is where the money is going to be made. That's where people are going to start seeing at the developmental level, oh no, this is look at the instincts, look at the brain. Like this is different. It's another level. And I think he can do a lot of great things in the league. This is my second NFL draft sleeper. Again, not as big of a draft sleeper. I think a lot of people are going to have him. He's more one of those guys, older, injury, that drops his value, less of, people don't know him. Now, Mr. Shamari Simmons, at his local pro day, Shamari Simmons contributed 4 forced fumbles, 1 interception, 4 pass deflections, 72 tackles for the Sun Devils in the 2024. The Commanders, Colts, and Jaguars have also shown interest in him. And I have to say, I haven't been watching a bunch of draft coverage specifically. Hey, maybe this is another guy that people see as a first rounder. I'm not the biggest expert. Maybe people see him in a different way or a different light. All I know is that he deserves some praise. I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna play this at the risk of being copyrighted. But as soon as number 7, I'm gonna talk just specifically in this one game. When I say as soon as he got in the game, that defense was unrecognizable. If you are somebody who has the capabilities to draft Shamari Simmons in the 3rd round for whatever he is, whatever value you see, I'm not here to talk about physical traits. I'm not here to talk about film. I haven't seen a bunch of film on Shamari Simmons. I saw him make my blood pressure rise. What was that, on New Year's Day? Because it's number 7. Was this the 4th play of the half? The 4th play of the half. We're on the -2 yard line, by the way. Yeah, boom. I'm making this a safety. He was just, nobody was gonna block him. Nobody. It doesn't matter. There's a whole man there. I'll get up off of you, Golden. I'm making magic happen. He almost turned it into a touchdown. When I say the game changed when he got on the field, I do not mean that lightly. And oh my God. Now, this was the play that he did get called for a target on, but Lord have mercy. The physicality. He's one of those emotional leaders too. And that's what I was getting at. Forget about physical traits and this and that. I think in the NFL, more so than anything, what you see excels is people who are willing to adapt, people who are willing to win, people who, when it's, you had to sit out a whole half. You had to sit out a whole half and watch your defense let up 17 points. You come in and one of the first things you do is force a safety. That's called impact, ladies and gentlemen. That's called impact, ladies and gentlemen. So you can save it with the targeting. You can save that. As soon as he got the chance to make some magic happen, he was making magic happen. He was making my blood boil. I hated this mother. I hated him. I was like, what happened? I thought we was gonna beat up on a Big 12 defense, and then this mother had to come out. Really hate me. And there you go. You can see him at the what's it called? We'll show him at the Shrine Bowl getting some work done. But yeah, when it comes to what other dude with cornerback, I forgot with Revel, right? That was statistics, this or that. That's the reason why I chose him. Jimmy Horn, watched a lot of his games. I think with the injuries he deserves it. Shamari Simmons pissed me off into becoming someone that I think you better draft this motherfucker. You better draft him. Fearless, emotional leader by doing it the right way, leader by smacking somebody in the mouth. Somebody who completely transformed. Again, when I say transform, it felt like, and if you've played sports, you know this. You know that teammate that like, oh, he's back. Woo! It makes everybody a little more calm. Okay, my backer's here. Oh my God. Okay, now I'm even more confident in my job because I know I got a guy that's gonna make some. You know what I'm saying? He gonna make something happen. That's what it felt like. It felt like a relief for them Arizona State Sun Devils, and they just started playing with a different level of tenacity when number 7 was in the game. So I think undoubtedly one of my draft steals. We got Shamari Simmons. We got Mr. Shavon Revel Jr. Probably not saying that wrong. And then Jimmy Horn Jr. But I had yapped a lot. What does a future NFL Hall of Famer, I'll say it, Steve Smith, have to say about Mr. Jimmy Horn Jr.? Let's get into it now.
this guy might be a player for somebody in Jimmy Horn Jr. What's your thought?
Well, I will say this. Our great, fantastic producer, John, and there's been other people as well, so it's not just John, who assumed because his name is Jimmy Horn Jr., that he was kinfolk. His daddy was Joe Horn. No, wrong black guy.
That's a hot way to start.
Just because they're black and the last name's Horn.
All right, come on, let's get
it's
into
not
it, please.
my top 15.
Ooh.
Oh.
Breakdowns that we're doing, Jimmy Horn Jr.
goodness.
is in my top 15.
Ooh.
Okay, let's get to it because he is playing copyrighted music, so I can't do too much. But let's get into the pro day reaction. We'll get in and get out.
I love that. And also what he did when you and I were standing there and you were predicting 40s, which was like a Rain Man type of thing, which was really impressive.
What do you get? Probably 4 or 5. Can we explain that to people? Because some people, oh, I could do that. What's the big deal?
Okay, can we get to that Jimmy Horn, please?
But you were predicting him off the sideline.
It was a few guys I was like, oh, that was my. There was one I was like, oh, about 4.62. Boom, 4.62.
It was on the nose. You did get one on the nose, which was great. And if you remember, Jimmy Horn Jr. runs which wasn't slow, 4.46 at the combine. The thing I like about him, because I asked around, like he loves to compete.
Yeah, he
I'm
does.
running again. I'm running again. And because he had a good combine, and a lot of people like took notice in the drills that he went through, the gauntlet, things like that. And then he's like, oh no, I'm gonna run some more, and I'm gonna compete some more. And so he goes and drops his 40 to 4.4 flat.
That's big, because they take the best time. They take that. That's why they give those guys an opportunity to do it. They will take the best time. The worst time, they're not gonna put that down as your final grade. So you have opportunities to improve.
Certainly, and and look at what he did on your board. Ends up running routes at the showcase and goes up. Had probably the play. He had the play of the showcase.
Yeah,
right?
he had some
the deep
plays.
ball and the backflip afterwards.
Thank you.
He had some plays.
I know what that boy do. Y'all know what that boy do. Let's get deeper into
With the new kickoff rule.
Yeah.
I talked to 2 different GMs about this at the showcase, and with the new kickoff rule, with it sliding up to being returned to the 35 for a touchback, they're going to want more teams returning balls, which now guys in the middle rounds, which I'd say Jimmy Horn Jr. in a lot of teams' minds is a 4th, 5th round pick, maybe in that range in some people's minds. He might slide up a little bit due to the return ability and the explosive ability to.
Absolutely. Oh, they are spamming this music, so we can't do too much. We can't do too much. But let's get into this film session a little bit. Are they still playing the music? They are, in fact, still playing the music. So we'll get into a little bit of this.
On this play.
Man, Shador was under duress this whole season.
Hey.
It's going to be interesting to watch Shador is how he handles actually.
Wow, look at that! Look at that adjustment. Oh my God! Again, we can't be here too long. I didn't know they was going to be playing. What's it called? All that. I just really want to get a few comments from Steve Smith in the fact that he continues to be. Again, he's gonna be an impressive guy. A lot of people are gonna be impressed by him. What's it called? But a little too much copyright music. I thought we could slide in there a little more. But y'all go watch that full breakdown. Go watch this as well. If we have time, y'all want to see another Jimmy Horn video, we'll go and listen to this. But we've yapped a lot. We yapped a lot about draft steals. Let me know who your team needs in the draft. Let me know if you got a player that you're, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's my guy. I want him to go to a team. Who's that? Who's a guy that you have underrated in this draft class? Hey, man, I'm going to try to do a live stream on the draft day, so we'll check, see where Shador is going, see where Travis Hunter is going, right? There's going to be a lot of big announcements on that day one. A lot of fun and a lot of excitement. So I really appreciate y'all hanging with me. Appreciate y'all watching the video. Like the video if you like it. Dislike if you don't like it. Subscribe if you enjoy college football content, draft, portal, NIL, everything else in between. You're great. Continue to be great because I know you know you're great. Peace.